And there's a report by Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. He says, now this is from conversations he's had with people around the league. He said when he talks to people about Russell Wilson, the one team, and let's put this out there, Russell has not requested or may never request a trade from the Seattle Seahawks. So he's not requested a trade. However, Mike Florio is saying that Russell Wilson has his eyes on the Dallas Cowboys. Rob, I want to throw this at you. We know what they're going through with Dak Prescott, and they still haven't signed him to a long-term contract. His franchise tag would be like $38 million a year, or for this upcoming year. What are your thoughts about this? I mean, would you like to see Wilson in Dallas? Do you think the Cowboys should try to make a push for him, or what?
I think it's far-fetched. I mean, if I'm the Cowboys, would I make the deal? Of course I would. I mean, of course I would. One guy is proven. A lot of people, Dak is still up in the air. Some people like him a lot. Chris think he's a winner. Other people question really if he's that guy or not. I'm out on Dak, right? I'm out. So I would take Russell Wilson in a New York minute if he was available to add to that team. Obviously, Dallas wound up having a lot of other issues this past year. Because remember, I don't know if it was, there were people, was it ESPN, Chris, who picked the Cowboys to go to the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, there were several people.
Right. That's where they thought that team.
Right. He picked Dallas. A lot of people, like you said,
they thought
Dallas
that team had everything that you needed, defense, right? Quarterback, all this running game. I mean, the Cowboys were high on a lot of people's lists. So if you're Russell Wilson, you could say, well, I mean, if they can get it together, and Mike McCarthy, after that horrible first year, he's a coach who won a Super Bowl before. So, yeah, I would take him in 2 minutes.
I'm with you. And I like Dak, but I've never said he's as good as Russell Wilson. I think there's some similarities, but he's just a lesser version of Russell Wilson. I would, if I'm Dallas, there is no doubt about it. I am going all in on Russell Wilson if I could get him. Now, they may not be able to get him. And if Dak signs the franchise tag and they tender him and he signs it, then they wouldn't, Seattle's not going to trade for a $38 million hit. So that could stop all of this. But Russell Wilson in Dallas would be just what the doctor ordered. Now, their offensive line this past year was terrible. It was way worse than Seattle's. However,
was it that
they
bad?
were banged
I didn't realize it was. I didn't realize that.
Well,
yeah, I didn't.
I just Pro Football Focus. They had Seattle's offensive line ranked 14th this year.
That's middle of the pack.
That's not that bad.
Right.
I mean, they did give up a lot of sacks. Obviously, he's broken the record since the merger for most straight seasons with 40 or more sacks. It's 8. I don't think anybody else has more than 5. However, some of it, is his fault. He extends plays and runs around, so some of that's on him. But he hasn't been greatly protected. But Dallas was like 27th on Pro Football Focus. But remember, they had their best linemen were hurt. Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins. So their line really isn't that bad when they're healthy. You got the great receiving core. You got to run it, a nice running game, Ezekiel Elliott, and others. And their defense obviously is a problem. But I think it'd be a great move if it could happen. But Rob, I agree with you. I don't see this necessarily happening. I mean, it seems just a bit far-fetched.
It seemed like a pipe dream
much
to me.
Yeah.
I just, with Dak there, I just don't know. I mean, Chris, let's just
you
be
obviously
honest.
wouldn't bring both of them. You wouldn't have both of them.
You gotta feel like Dak will just come back this year, right? Have a 1-year contract, and to see what he can do and how he bounces back, and then the Cowboys will make a decision. Don't you think that that's probably how it's going to go?
I would think. I mean, look, if I'm them, and obviously this is out there, and Florio got it from someplace, and I think Russ's camp has been leaking stuff. I think they leaked that he was frustrated with the offensive line. I think they leaked that he talked to Seattle before he went public and wasn't happy with the way they responded to his concerns. So they're putting stuff out there, and they're probably the ones that put this out there, that he's interested in the Cowboys. So if I'm Dallas, I'm trying to figure out a way to get him. I don't know if you can, but I'm trying to figure out a way. But if not, yeah, I probably bring Dak back. Now, you know this, if you're franchised 2 straight years, it's unlikely in most cases that the guy goes back with the team, long term.
No.
But where is Dallas going if they don't get Russell Wilson, they don't get a Deshaun Watson, where are they going without Dak? I mean, you just going to take that chance that maybe in a few years we'll get, a franchise-type quarterback? It's tough. They've really put themselves in a bind.
Because they didn't do what they were supposed to, which was, at that time, we talked about it, that the longer you wait, Chris, the longer you're going to be in a tight, situation, and then you got to figure out it's going to cost you more money. It didn't make any sense. That I just couldn't figure it out. Either you were trying to make the guy happy, right, because he's your quarterback, and let's just make it happen because this is only going to hurt us later, or you kick the can down the road. They kick the can down the road, and guess what? It's time that you got to pay the nickel deposit, Chris. It's time.
No, you're right. You're right. So I think, look, it also, but let's go to the flip side of it, Rob. If I'm Seattle, I'm not trading Russell Wilson. I'm not. I got a 32-year-old quarterback, right smack dab in the middle of his prime, won a Super Bowl, looks like a future Hall of Famer. You just mentioned it. Dallas should have done whatever it took within reason to keep Dak happy.
Right.
To make Dak happy. If I'm Seattle, that's what I'm doing with Russell Wilson. I think, number one, improve the offensive line. That's number one. Number two, throw a few more wrinkles into the offense. I think it became predictable. Rob, first half of the season, they had 7 of their first 8 games. They scored 30 or more points. Second half of the season, they scored 30 or more one time in 8 games. So people figured them out. So throw a few wrinkles, get a little more innovative with it. And I think, Russ, and we see this with teams, I think it was the case with Green Bay. But the last decade or so. Teams sometimes get comfortable, especially if you won a Super Bowl, you're relevant. They got rabid fans up there in Seattle. As long as the team's relevant, making the playoffs most years, the fans are going to be into it. They got their 1 Super Bowl, had a chance at 2. And I think Russ sees that and is trying to light a fire under him and saying, look, let's not be comfortable. I just watched a 43-year-old win his 7th Super Bowl. I won a few rings. And we can blame him that he doesn't have to. I think Pete Carroll's the most to blame, but Russell threw the ball. No doubt about it. He takes
just
a big
like
part
if he would have thrown it and it would have been a touchdown, Chris, he would have got credit, right?
Right.
Can't have it both ways. He would have got credit if it was a touchdown.
Yep. He gets the blame. Now, I do think Carroll deserves more blame. Where are you at on that? Carroll?
Yeah,
or
I would
Russ?
never run that play. I'm sorry, Chris.
That was ridiculous.
Beast mode has to run the ball, Chris. There's enough time for 2 running plays.
Yep.
If he doesn't get in at the 1, then you don't deserve to win the Super Bowl. I'm sorry.
Right. And so, but yeah, so you could put some blame on him. But I think that's a part of this, Rob. I think he's saying, look, I want to, light a fire under these guys so we can go for a Super Bowl. And I don't think they're that close. I think they're a good team. But I wouldn't pick them next year to come out of the NFC. But again, if I'm Seattle, I'm not giving up Russell Wilson. That's for darn sure. And if I'm Dallas, I'm trying to get him.